Well, that's, it's lovely that they like to lay claim to you. But did you keep doing that sort of like competing, anything like that as you were growing up? Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So I was pretty much, well, I call a talent quest kid. There was a few of us in country music. So I grew up with people like Travis Collins and the McClymonts. They were two that sort of really I knew from a very young age. So from probably from about 7 years old, I was competing against those guys in talent quest, and we'd always meet up different weekends around different talent quests around Australia. And we were so lucky back then that there were so many of those country music clubs, and there was talent quests that nurtured young talent. I don't feel like there's as many these
Mhm.
days, but that was a totally normal thing to do. Was most weekends pack up in the car and go to a talent quest, and so yeah, I literally did that up until I was 16, because then I well, it's still a talent quest. Was the back then it was called the Telstra Road to Tamworth, and that won me a trip to Nashville, and that was the first time I got to go to Nashville. I'd never even been on a plane before, let alone left the country. So from there, after that, the following year, then I went in Star Maker, which is of course another talent quest, and so I often say I literally am a talent quest kid from the age of 3 years old, and lots of the amazing things I've been able to achieve have come from doing competitions.
When I interviewed Emma Donovan a little while ago, she said she was on that circuit with Brooke
Yeah,
McCowan in particular. And
yeah,
she's like, she said her mother was very much the stage.
yeah, yeah, definitely.
So I love the idea of these mums kind of running around, and also, as you said, the way the talent was fostered through those country music clubs,
Yeah,
that's hugely important to how our country music landscape looks now.
definitely, 100%. Yeah.
So I'm wondering if there was an age at which you realized that it was like serious competition, it wasn't necessarily fun anymore, or did you always find it fun to compete?
Well, I always found it fun, and I mean, I lost way more talent quests than what I ever won. But I feel like growing up, I didn't really think about anything other than music, because that's just all I ever wanted to do. And I grew up going to Tamworth every year, and we would watch Star Maker or we'd listen to it on the radio. So the idea of competitions, I guess, was just so totally normal for me. And I knew that because I come from a family with zero money at all, I knew that that was going to be my way out, or my way in
Mhm.
to the industry. So yeah, I didn't really think anything of it. It wasn't one of those things where it was like, oh, I don't want to do a talent quest this weekend. It was more me saying to mum and dad, okay, you need to save up this month because there's this talent quest in Queensland and I need you to take me
Yeah.
there. So I feel like it was always fun for me. I didn't really, even though I did take it seriously because I knew, certain talent quests had great prizes and that could get me into the next step in my career. It was just so much fun at the same time. And I feel like because there was so many young kids around my age, like, the McClymonts and Travis and so many more that I'm not listing right now, but it was kind of fun because even though you're competing it's against each other, it was a whole weekend where you just literally hang out and play country music. And for me, especially where I grew up, and I feel like it was Australia wide, country music was not cool at all growing up in Australia in the early 90s. So I didn't have any friends at school that I could, talk about country music to or listen to country music. I felt like I was literally the only person in my school that loved country music. So when I got to do these talent quests on the weekend, it was amazing to see other kids my age that felt the same way about me and loved the same music.